Hello, my loves. Good evening. Hopefully, whenever you watch this, or good morning, good afternoon. So, I'm coming on live here in my Facebook community to talk about the reason why some manifesting techniques or tools or practices or rituals don't work for some people. So, if you're here on Facebook watching me live, let me know in the comments below. If you're catching the replay on Facebook, let me know as well that you caught the replay and feel free to share your thoughts, perspectives, experiences with me in the comments. You might be catching this video on Instagram or YouTube because I'm gonna upload them to those places as well. So if you're joining me from there, then definitely let me know that you caught the video in wherever you got this from, okay? So let's see here. Maybe I'll do an Instagram live video and then get that and then post it to the Facebook and the YouTube. But last time I tried to do that on Instagram, I didn't know how to save that stupid video and I think I accidentally deleted it or something. I don't know. So I'm a little bit technologically challenged sometimes in certain social media things that make me feel like I'm not as young as I think I am in my mind. But anyway, I'm here today and you will get this video, okay? Fingers crossed. There are no issues with recording this video and uploading it. So anyway, if this is your first time tuning into one of my videos and you don't know who I am, my name is Stef. I'm the Psychic Soul Alignment Coach. What I do is I work with spiritual people and spiritual entrepreneurs to help them to do very deep levels of healing, known as inner work or shadow work, to really help them to powerfully align with more of who they truly are on a very deep soul level, higher self level. And so by helping my clients really align to more of who they truly are, they're then able to navigate life with so much more ease and grace and create it so much more effortlessly. So that's how I help people. Now, I'm going to be talking about manifesting over the next, few weeks. And I've been sharing things out on Instagram, on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all the places. So make sure that you follow me in all the relevant places. You can find me on all the social medias that I just mentioned as Stef Coaching. If you're on YouTube, the links to my social media will be in the comments of this video pinned to the top, okay? But let's get into today's topic, okay? So the reason some manifesting techniques, tools, rituals, things don't work for everyone. All right, so this is an off-the-cuff kind of video because I felt like I really want to do a video, but I don't know what to talk about, and then I got this topic for you guys today. So I really hope that it really does support you in your journey wherever you're at. If you did not see my last video and you're watching on YouTube, be sure to click on the video here. I think it's in this corner. It's been a minute. On the card section, and you will be able to see the last video that I did where I talk about the things that I've learned from manifesting my return to the US. So I'm not there yet. I'm manifesting it, and I've learned a lot about how I got in my own way and a lot of mistakes I made. So if you want to check that out, it will be up here in the cards on YouTube for you to check it out. You can find it on Instagram as well. All right, so the reason some manifesting techniques don't work for some people. Well, let's see. It really all depends on a few factors, okay? The first factor is what level of your spiritual journey are you at? Because if you're at an earlier stage of your spiritual journey, then chances are that it's going to be highly likely for you to be able to implement whatever manifesting technique, tool, ritual practice that you're doing and get good results because you're at those earlier stages of, beginner baby spiritual person. So you will, those steps that you're taking to manifest are big for you. They're out of your comfort zone. They're you doing something differently than you've done before. So chances are that because that's your next level, it's going to work for you. You're going to have an easier time with them. Now, for those of you that are more evolved and more advanced spiritually, sometimes those manifesting techniques, tools, and rituals that you're implementing don't work for you because you've evolved past them and they're not stretching you. They're not relevant to where you're at in your spiritual journey. They're not expanding you. They're not evolving you And so because they're not at the level at which you are needing to go in on your spiritual journey, they might not work for you for that reason, because you need to take it up another level, right? This is how we grow, we evolve. We don't grow and evolve from staying in our comfort zones and doing the same things that we've been doing. We do them from doing things differently, taking, a challenge on and really stretching ourselves and seeing how far we can go. So this is one of the reasons why sometimes for more evolved spiritual people, the typical manifestation tools, practices, and rituals that are out there can sometimes not work for them, okay? Or sometimes stop working for them. So let me know if this is you in the comments below. Like, were there manifestation tools or rituals or practices that you did that worked for you really well before, that maybe you're noticing now that they're not working as well for you now? I would really love to hear from you all on that. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why sometimes these things just don't work for people anymore the way that they used to. And that doesn't mean necessarily that you have to stop doing those tools, practices, and rituals. It just means that maybe there's some readjusting that needs to happen that will help you to evolve and grow spiritually and align more powerfully with your truth, and not to lean so much on those tools and rituals as before. Like, you shift some things. I don't know how else to explain it. Those things are like meant to complement you in your spiritual journey. They're not things that you necessarily like lean on. Anyway, it's a whole thing. Hopefully you understand it. So those are some of the reasons why. Now, another reason, and I mentioned this on TikTok yesterday. So if you're following me on TikTok, I talked about how the tools and practices and rituals that we use to manifest are meant to support our ability to believe that we can manifest what we desire, okay? They're meant to help us really elevate our belief system so that we can really believe, like, oh no, I can do this, this is mine, it is coming, it's on the way. And so by believing it, we can then really start elevating our energy and really expanding our consciousness, so that our consciousness then reflects that of a person who has this thing that we're manifesting, right? And so by having that level of consciousness and energy behind it and belief, we're then able to show up in life in the ways in which we need to align with our manifestation. But that's all the tools, practices, and rituals that we're implementing to manifest are really meant to do. They're there to help us believe and to get our energy and consciousness on board. And so when you are doing these different manifestation tools, practices, and rituals, if they're not working for you, then maybe you don't really believe that they're going to work for you. Maybe you doubt them, because you can sit there. There's like so many different practices, tools, and rituals out there to manifest. But if you don't really believe that it's going to change anything, then it's not going to work. It's just like even with energy work, if the person really doesn't believe that the energy work is going to help them, then they're closed off to any healing and they won't get healing. You have to believe for it to support you, the energy to be able to help you in your life, right? And so this is not placebo effect, by the way, for anyone, because I feel like there's someone there thinking this. This is not placebo effect. It's just like you have to give your consent. Someone can do energy work on you, but if you don't really give your consent that, like, I believe in this, I'm open to receiving this, then the energy can't come in and do anything really on you, right? So you have to give your consent. And so the same thing here is you can do all of these manifestation tools, practices, and rituals, but if you don't really believe, then you're not really allowing for that energy that you're creating to really be there to support you. So this is one of the reasons why sometimes these practices don't work for people, is because they don't really have the belief. They still doubt. So they still think like, oh, this isn't really going to change anything, or, whatever it is that they're coming up with, they resist it. Okay. So that's one of the things. If you don't believe that what you're doing is going to help you move forward, nothing's going to change. Okay. No matter what that is. Whether that's you manifesting something, you getting therapy to work on something, you starting a business, to be independent. Like, if you don't think it's going to work out, it's not going to work out. There's like some expression out there, I don't know who said it, but whatever the expression, it goes something like, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right, you know? And so basically, if you think that it's not going to work, then you're right, it's not going to work, because that's what you're creating. That's your belief system. That's what you're going to end up manifesting. So maybe you don't really believe that whatever you're doing is actually working, is actually going to have a positive effect, is actually going to be supportive of you in being able to achieve this. And so because you don't believe it's not going to happen. That's one reason. Another reason that sometimes manifestation tools, practices, and rituals don't work for people is because they haven't done the necessary inner work. So it's interesting because, like, if you want to manifest whatever it is, relationships, money, a promotion, health, some other material object or whatever, if you want to manifest those things, but then you have belief systems and other issues that make you feel, think, and believe that you're not worthy of that, that you can't do that, that the universe won't provide for you, etc., then if you have all this other stuff fighting against your intention, it's not going to show up in your reality. So it's interesting because when we want to manifest things, a lot of times we want these things, but we don't realize that we need to first do a certain level of internal work or inner clearing to clear up the space inside of ourselves to then be able to magnetize these things and draw them in and actually be able to keep them. Because what happens is that when you want to manifest something, but you haven't done the inner work necessary, like, even if you by some chance you happen to manifest it, it might leave your life right away because your internal world wasn't properly prepared to hold that and keep that in your life, right? So this is one of the reasons why a lot of times when it comes to people winning the lottery, a lot of those people go broke within a few years because they don't have the internal world set up to really be able to sustain the life of, you know, a millionaire if they won millions or whatever, or like this really abundant life. Like they managed to manifest all this money. Now they're wealthy, but internally maybe they don't really feel worthy of having so much abundance and luxury. Maybe they feel like they're not capable of managing that money. They believe that. Maybe they believe that other people are going to take them, whatever. They have all these inner things, and so that causes them to sabotage in some kind of way, and for the money to just keep leaving until they're back to where they started, right? And so they had to do that inner work to be able to really sustain that in their lives, attract it and sustain it. And so you got to do this inner work to be able to match your desires and also to keep them, okay? So when manifestation practices and rituals aren't working for you, then maybe take a look at yourself and see if you have been slacking on the inner work. You know, have you really been sitting with yourself and looking into your beliefs and your feelings and your thoughts around this thing that you're wanting to manifest? And by doing so, have you noticed then, or given yourself the opportunity to notice if there are any objections that you have internally around being able to manifest this thing? And if there are certain objections, then that's what you need to work through and clear in order to be able to manifest this thing that you want. And until you do that inner work, then you're just going to keep getting in your own way. And it doesn't matter what rituals, practices you do, you're going to keep, you know, tripping yourself up energetically in being able to achieve your goal because your beliefs are messing with the energy and not letting things in. It's kind of like, this is what I'm getting. It's kind of like an image of like a fence that has like different wires or like steel poles kind of thing, you know, kind of like jail, like a jail cell. But, you know, and on the other side of that is your desire. And you can maybe see your desire and you can believe like mentally like, oh, you know, I can manifest that. I want that. But then these little steel bars are kind of in your way and preventing you or affecting your ability to actually get that thing, right? And so when you do the inner work, it's like you're literally taking that, what's it called? The thing with the fire. You know, the people that work with steel, listen, I don't know about this, okay? But this is what I'm getting here to communicate to you to get this. Those people, they start like getting the little fire tool thing, and they start like cutting the little steel thingies, bars or whatever, like one by one by one by one. And so that's kind of like what it is when you're doing the inner work, is like you're cutting those things down, those objections, those roadblocks or whatever, getting them out the way so that you can create a clear path for your desires to show up and like come into your life, right? So yeah, you know, that's probably one of the reasons why maybe your manifestation tools and practices haven't worked. If anyone's commenting, by the way, I can't see your comments. I don't know. Sometimes Facebook acts crazy and I don't see comments till like afterwards. But is there anything else? I think there's one more that I need to mention for today around why certain manifestation tools and techniques don't work. What is that? We're doing this live. I didn't prepare for this. Thank you for being patient. Let me take my tea for a minute. Oh, okay. So sometimes your manifestation tools, practices, and rituals don't work in manifesting your desires because your desire isn't in alignment. So I don't know about you peeps, but I'm the kind of person that I really do my best to work in the highest good of all and to really teach my clients what it means to come from soul versus ego in the work that I do, the programs that I hold, and really helping them to really embody that, okay? That understanding of this is the difference between ego versus soul, right? And I talk a lot more about this in my self-study course called Soul Aligned Intentions, okay? This is a short, I think it's like a 3-module course to help you really understand what it means to set soul-aligned intentions. And you can implement the teachings in this course every month, every quarter, you know, every 6 months or whatever, to really help you to like reset and realign and really set intentions that come from your soul. And so I'm saying all of this because a lot of times we have certain desires, but our desires are coming from our ego and they're not coming from our soul, okay? They're not coming from a place that's truly for our highest good. And so we might be, let's say, and I see this all the time in, you know, listen, human Stef sometimes has an issue with how manifestation is taught in the spiritual community. And one of those things that sometimes affects me is people teaching other people how to manifest their ex back, for example. Okay? Now, there's a difference between human stuff and, you know, spiritual, more connected stuff. So human stuff's going to talk to you for a second. Human stuff sometimes feels like referring to myself in the third person, but look, sometimes when I'm coming from my own unique self personality, sometimes it bothers me when people are teaching other people how to attract their ex back, because that person is often wanting to attract that ex back from an egoic place. Okay? So their ego is saying, yeah, I want that ex back. I miss them. They were the greatest thing I ever had, blah, 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 all this other stuff. And, you know, they put them on a pedestal and they want them bad so desperately. But, you know, from a standpoint of what's for your highest good, maybe that ex isn't for your highest good. Maybe that's not what your soul really wants or your higher self really intends for you. And so you're over there, right? If you're one of the people that's trying to manifest the ex back, you're doing the rituals, the things that you're learning from the online space to try to manifest that ex back. And so you do that, and you might even be successful at that, because let me tell you, our personal will is so powerful, and we can make stuff happen if we want, because we have free will, right? So we can truly, you know, make the universe give us our ex back if we really want. If we really believe we can do it, we get our energy behind it, we can get that person back. That doesn't mean that that person's for your highest good. And so you will learn that along the way in your journey. So good luck to you. Let me know if you've been through that already. But, you know, if you're one of the people that you're trying to manifest this ex back, and you are doing all the rituals, and you're like, oh my God, my ex still isn't showing up. Like, why? Where are they at? I'm doing the things, like, I know that I could get them back if I apply this. Look, I'm watching all the comments from other people who have implemented this technique and they've gotten their exes back. Like, why am I not getting my ex back? The reason that you're probably not getting your ex back, and that the ritual, the manifestation ritual, tool, practice, or whatever that you're doing isn't working for you, is because that's not for your highest good. You are not meant to get that. That is not for you, okay? And you must be grateful. Be grateful that isn't working out, if that's truly for your highest good. And so, everyone's journey is going to be different, okay? So it's not a bad thing or a good thing if you manifest this ex or not, okay? We're all learning spiritual things here. But, that might be one of the reasons, is that whatever you're wanting to manifest, it might not be for your highest good, okay? So if it's not for your highest good, then even though maybe you believe in, you being able to manifest that thing, and you're doing the rituals and stuff, even though you feel like, okay, but I'm doing all the things, like, why isn't it working? Okay, so you feel like you're doing it right. Maybe it's not showing up because it's not for your highest good. Another reason that the manifestation tools, practices, and rituals may feel like they're not working for you, because you're not seeing your manifestation right away, is also probably because maybe it's not the right time. So it's not necessarily that it's not for your highest good, but maybe it's not the right time. Maybe certain other things have to unfold first before that thing that you're manifesting can come in, right? So it's not necessarily that the tool, the practice, the ritual isn't working. It just appears to not be working for you because you, from your own egoic mind, you have your own ideas of what it's supposed to look like, when it's supposed to show up, and all this other stuff. So because it's not going according to your plans, you think it's not working, but it's not necessarily that it's not working. It's just that maybe it's just not the right time. And let me tell you, I just shared in my last video the story about like how I wanted to manifest my move back to the US, and just really understanding recently that I was getting in my own way of doing that. And just reflecting on it as it relates to this topic right now, what I just said is like, there's certain things that I've been doing to manifest my move back to the US, but I'm still here waiting. And it's not that I'm not meant to be in the US. Like, I know I'm meant to be there, but it's just that it wasn't the right time. And it wasn't the right time because I needed to do a lot of inner work on myself and go through some things, learn some lessons, etc., to really build myself up into the person I need to be for when I return to the US. Because if I had gone back maybe earlier, when I was my old self from way back like 2-3 years ago or whatever, like, that person would not have done well probably in the US, right? So I needed to clear some things up so that my journey over there and my experiences over there are the best, right? Instead of feeling like I'm going through crap again no matter where I go. I had to like fix it all here, work through it all here, or whatever, address it here, and when it's time, then I'm going to go over there. Does that make sense? So it's divine timing. I have that desire, that intention. I've been doing my part, and now things are lining up and starting to move forward for me to go with that, right? So this is maybe one of the reasons why the manifestation tool, practice, ritual doesn't seem to be working. And I think that's it that I wanted to share with you today. So I really hope that this has helped you and has really helped you to understand that, there are many different reasons for why manifestation tools, practices, and rituals don't work for everyone. And it just really depends on a case-by-case basis. And I really want you to understand that just because a certain tool, practice, or ritual works for people, and you see a lot of people that it works for, and you're doing it and you're like, why isn't it working for me? Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with you. Just maybe that tool, that ritual isn't a match for you, isn't in alignment for you, isn't supporting you in the ways in which you need at that time to move you along with your journey and aligning you with your desires, right? So it's a journey for everyone, okay? I will personally tell you that for me, it doesn't work for me to do that tool. For example, what do people do? It's like 55 by 5 or something. I don't know, but they like write something 55 times, I think, every day for like 5 days to manifest something. Like, that doesn't do anything for me, but that might help other people. That might help like beginner manifestors, like I said at the beginning of the video, right? And be exactly what they need at that time to move forward with their journeys and their manifestations. But that doesn't align with me, right? And so just because it works for all these other people though, you know, doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with me if it doesn't work for me. Like, that's not that's not it, right? All these, like I said in my TikTok video last night and what I said earlier, is that the purpose of these tools, practices, and rituals is to help you get your belief behind you being able to manifest this, and getting your energy and your consciousness behind that as well, right? So you can manifest. And so that technique of 55 by 5 would bore me to death. Personally, for me, it's just not in alignment for my personality and what I need. Like, yes, I need to repeat things a bunch of times, but I don't feel like writing it 55 times like Bart Simpson on the chalkboard. Like, I don't want to do that. That would be stressful to me, boring to me, frustrating to me. And my energy, of course, if I'm coming from this place of like boredom, frustration, like irritation, whatever, like, that's not going to help me with my manifestation, right? But if you're someone that you enjoy that kind of thing, you know, writing and writing, and it gets you excited, it really helps you to get excited to write it over and over again, you're feeling it more and more and more, then that's exactly what you need. It's going to help you, right? But just because, you know, some tools, practices, and rituals work for some people doesn't mean they work for everyone. If something feels heavy to you or not right for you, then maybe it's just not in alignment for you. And that's okay. Like, go find the ones that make manifesting feel good to you, fun, exciting, joyful, you know, that help you to believe more. Like, go for those. And if there are certain manifestation tools and practices out there that don't make you feel that way, like, you don't have to necessarily do those. You know, go find the ones that do and keep it moving, right? So I think that's all I wanted to say today. I really hope that this has helped you. And this is my off-the-cuff video. I'm going to be doing more videos like this. Like I said, maybe I'll do a live one on Instagram and then post it to Facebook and YouTube. I don't know. We're figuring things out. But thank you for your time today. I have a question here from Elcon. It says, so how can we prevent future disasters, unpleasant outcomes when the desire does manifest, even though it's not for our highest good? All right. So first of all, you need to recognize that when you see something or perceive something as a disaster or unpleasant, that's coming from your ego. That's not your soul. Because the spiritual part of you doesn't judge. The spiritual part of you is neutral about everything. It's just an experience. But when there is a perception that this is a disaster or unpleasant, that's your egoic human self perceiving it as such, giving it that definition, right? That, oh my God, this means this is bad. This is a disaster. This means this is going to be painful. It's going to be unpleasant or whatever. So you have to look into that, okay? Because even when we make mistakes, like in the example I gave earlier of like manifesting the ex, but maybe manifesting the ex is not necessarily for your highest good, but you're going to find out later, right? Later, when you're back with, you know, the ex and you're going through things with the ex and stuff, and it's unpleasant, like even then it's for your highest good, because sometimes we have to live through these things to really get things for ourselves. Like, this is what I teach in Remembering Who You Are, which is like my deep spiritual and healing program to really help people know how to navigate life and embrace life, and embrace sometimes like the punches or the blows that life gives us. You know, that's how we perceive it as humans, right? And to really just roll with it much more easily and learn from it and navigate it. So when you're trying to prevent something, that's that part of you that, you know, feels scared, that doesn't want to get hurt, that perceives something as painful, that's coming from a disempowered place, right? When you're really aligned with who you truly are, you're not afraid of these difficult things, these challenges, these whatever it is, because when you're really connected to who you are, you're like, you know what, no matter what happens, Like, I know it's for my highest good. I know it's teaching me. I know it's helping me to grow, to evolve, to expand, whatever it is. And I got what it takes to handle this. I'm being supported. I'm going to get through this, and it's okay. And you walk throughout life with so much more calm and peace, and with a much more open heart, instead of closing your heart and like closing your energy and just like wanting to like prevent anything bad from happening to you. You know, that's when you're living in fear. When you really do this deeper inner work and you're more connected to who you truly are, like, of course, you know, as humans, we're gonna not want to experience these things. Of course, you know, we would rather not experience them, but when we're connected to who we truly are, we're just like, you know what, whatever, like, it's all good. I got this, you know, and I'm gonna see the good in this, and I'm gonna move on from this. So, you know, that's what I have to say on that. But, you know, there's many different levels of teaching and manifesting. I'm gonna have to do a separate video on that. This is gonna be like a week of talking about manifestation. So thank you for joining me, and for your questions, and drop them in the comments below, wherever you're watching this from, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, because this might be for other future videos. I'm trying to keep this short because y'all know I can talk. There are some really long videos on my YouTube channel. But there are certain manifestation teachers out there that teach, for example, that in order to prevent an unpleasant outcome, you can visualize what you would rather see instead. Don't visualize what you're afraid of, visualize what you would rather see instead. Obviously, I get that. That makes sense. And that's what people do, and they get really good results. But everyone works differently. And like I said, I work for the highest good of people. So what the highest good means is that, and maybe some of you won't want to accept this, but what the highest good means is that you're willing to embrace some of the difficulties or challenges that life can bring you, because you know ultimately it serves a greater purpose. You know ultimately it's what's for the highest good of all, right? And so you're willing to endure sometimes these difficult things instead of always trying to like slide by and like avoid them, okay? So I'm that kind of person. That's what I teach my people that work with me, you know? So find whatever teachers resonate with you for wherever you're at this time. And if you resonate with those teachers who teach you to focus on just manifesting what you want always, and always, you know, avoiding these difficult circumstances and stuff, if that's what you would rather align with at this time, go for it. But that's not what I teach. I teach my people to not be afraid of those things and to embrace it and really find the power within themselves, like be so connected to who they truly are that they don't fear these things and they're just like, whatever. It's kind of like this is what I'm getting, okay? For the people who just want to cruise through life, it's the equivalent to being a boxer, or like wanting to be a boxer, I guess, but then never wanting to get punched. You know, like that doesn't make sense. And so when you're a boxer, you have to learn to take the punches. You have to learn to deal with it, okay? That doesn't mean that you have to suffer more than you need to, you struggle more than you need to, or whatever. It just means that you're not afraid of these things and you handle them like a boss, okay? Hope that made sense, because this is like a really in-depth discussion. And I know not everyone's going to agree with me, but it's okay. I appreciate the question, because that's what I stand for. I stand for helping people to really recognize that they're sovereign beings, and that there's so much good in even the difficult things, and that they don't have to be afraid of the difficult things and constantly live in this place of like, oh, I'm so afraid of this, I gotta avoid it. Because when you really connect to who you truly are, you see that there's even beauty and blessings in the challenges and the difficulties, and you embrace them and you let it mold you and shape you into the person that you're meant to become later on in life, to do the work that you're here to do. Especially those of us who are here to be healers. Like, we are here to be healers because we've gone through pain. We've gone through some stuff. And what kind of healers would we be if we always constantly avoided pain, right? That's, you know, the difficulties serve a purpose. But it's our human egos that make us think that we should avoid them. That was a tangent. I hope that helped someone. Whoever needed this, let me know if it helped you in the comments below. But I hope that answered your question, because I reread it and I really hope that that answered your question. Let me know if it was not clear though, and I will be happy to readjust my thoughts and my words on that. But yeah, you know, even when something bad happens or unpleasant or a disaster, like, it still can be for your highest good. And that may be exactly what you needed. Let me tell you, and everyone I think by now knows this story who has been following me actively, and I know you know this, Elcon, too, but like, I was in a toxic relationship a couple years ago, and that relationship, even though it hurt me so much in so many ways, taught me lots of valuable lessons. So even though it was unpleasant or a disaster or whatever, and it wreaked havoc on my life and my business, like, the learning that I received from that, like the gems that I received from that experience, I would not trade for anything in the world. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for everything that it taught me and how I have grown and empowered myself because of it. And so that was for my highest good, you know, in the end. In the end, you know. So I hope that made sense. Hey, Sana. Oh, I'm trying to like go this. Hey, Gary, thanks for joining. So we shouldn't go about preventing particular events in our lives, but like going through life as seeing the good in everything that happens to us. I like that. Yeah, I hope it made sense. Like nobody wants bad things to happen, right? Like, let me tell you, my mom. All right, listen, people. We have already discussed in my last video. Personally, I'm not a vaccine person. You do you. If vaccines resonate with you or other things, I support you. But for me, they don't resonate with me. Now, I'm going to, if I can, not get certain vaccines because they don't resonate with me. But if for whatever reason I have to, because it's mandatory to get into a country or something that I really want to go to or I need to go to or whatever, then I'm not going to sit there and like try to prevent it or whatever, because that's what I try to do. If y'all watch my last video, I talked about when I tried to go to Costa Rica and I was trying to prevent getting the yellow vaccine because I was so scared and whatever, just like a bunch of things. You know, my human self was like interfering with the process. And so anyway, you know, if I were to now have to get a vaccine or whatever, even though it's not in alignment for me, I'm not going to sit there and like freak out about the vaccines or what it could do, whatever. Like, I'm in my power around it and I just trust God, and I'm like, you know what, whatever. Like, if I need to get if it's really for my highest good, and if for whatever reason I have adverse effects, I'm going to trust that, you know, there's a purpose behind it. It's part of my journey. It's part of what I need to go through for whatever reason. It's part of me fulfilling my purpose. So I'm just going to leave it to you, God. Let it be whatever it needs to be. And I just trust in that, right? And so this is basically what it is like, I'm not necessarily like rooting for, in my case, like having a negative experience with vaccines or whatever, but I'm also not like resisting it if it does happen, right? I'm okay with God's plan. That's the highest good. Because that, for whatever reason, is meant to work out in ways that I can't even begin to comprehend. Only the Creator knows how that's supposed to work out, and I'm okay with that, right? And so this is what it means to really like allow things to unfold for the highest good and to be connected to who you truly are, and to embrace life instead of always trying to dictate, you know? Hopefully that made sense and that didn't confuse you. It's like a tricky thing. But yeah, so I was saying earlier, you know, my mom got certain vaccination, and I was like concerned for her at first, because I was like, oh my gosh, my mom, I haven't seen my mom physically like in 12 years, so like I don't want anything happening to her. Like, I want at least like one last hug from my mom if anything should happen to her, right? I was like freaking out. I cried about it and everything. I just cried. I just like released all my fears and my things. And then I was like, you know what, God, like, let your will be done, you know? Like, I've already spoken to my mom in the nicest way possible. I've presented certain things to her, but it's her choice at the end of the day, and I respect that. And if that's what she feels is right for her, I have to support her in that. And if God, for whatever reason, something happens because she chooses to do this, I have to trust in your plan. I have to trust that this is, supposed to be what it's supposed to be, and that you're going to help me get through it, And I had to like find peace in myself. And it's still a touchy subject a little bit because I can feel my heart like, oh, my mom. But, I had to make peace with it a bit. And luckily, like, God protected my mom. Because my mom was starting to feel funky, but then my mom felt, because my mom's like super psychic. She sees like spirits and stuff like that. But she doesn't call herself psychic. And like, my mom had an experience where she felt like that day she got the second thing, like something reached into her heart and like pulled something out. And I was like, oh, you've been saved! God, thank you. But yeah, so, you have to, of course you want the best to happen and you want everything to be pleasant and easy, but you have to be neutral about potential negative things. So I hope that made sense. You just got to trust in the divine plan. Oh, snap. Why does this thing not scroll correctly? I guess what you're also saying is that whatever we do manifest, it happens to be in our highest good if we're open to it. Sure stuff. Yeah, like going back to the situation that I did. So like, to me, Creator never makes mistakes. Creator is amazing and knows exactly what they're doing and is always working out for the highest good. And so going back to the story I said about my ex, like, I knew I wasn't supposed to be with that person. It wasn't supposed to be a long-term thing or whatever. And, I had been told. But I don't know. I didn't listen. I didn't listen. I somehow ended up staying in this relationship longer than I was supposed to. And even though like my intuition was telling me like, okay, get out of this. Like, first of all, you were already told this wasn't going to work out, by your mentor, a long time ago. And then like, it just doesn't feel right. But I didn't listen to myself. And I just continued on in this relationship, and then things just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And so even though I exercised my free will to stay in a relationship that wasn't for my highest good, wasn't a relationship I was supposed to be in, even in that experience of being in this relationship and everything that I went through and had to work through, heal from, or whatever, to like come back into my power and find myself again, like that ultimately served my highest good. So like, this is the way I see it. Source has an intended path for us, and we can steer away from the path through our free will. So like, this is the path for our highest good, but we can go this way because we think we know better, and we'll go this way. Like, let's go that way. I want to explore that. And so even though that takes us off the path of our highest good, like even when we veer off, whatever we go through, no matter how unpleasant it is, it's still for our highest good. It's still for our highest good if we choose to see it that way and work through all of that and align ourselves. So I hope that made sense, but that's like what I teach my people is like, it's still for your highest good anyway, so there's always an intended path for you, but it's always all working out for you, always, if you choose to see it that way. So you just gotta do your best. So anyway, I really hope that this has helped, and I appreciate the questions. Thank you for joining me live, Alcon. And I will be back, I guess, tomorrow or whenever to do more videos on manifestation. Let me know if you have any other questions on manifestation, challenges or things. Like, I'm just going to be sharing my personal experiences. I don't know, just like whatever I feel pulled to share every day is what I'm going to be sharing on the internet. And I really hope that it is of great service to you and makes a difference in your life. And I appreciate you spending this time with me this evening. And yeah, I'll see you soon. Oh yeah, also, I will be launching a manifestation program, and I think we'll start at the end of the month. I haven't yet gotten all the details. I was supposed to do that today, but I didn't because I had to ask my spirit guides about other things today. And so I will be launching a manifestation program probably by the end of the month. We'll start. And this is going to be different from previous programs that I've done, because in the previous programs that I did, they were focused specifically to manifesting money. And this program is really about helping people align powerfully with who they truly are so they can manifest anything, whether that's money, that's a relationship, a really good soul-aligned relationship, you know, career, what else, health, like whatever it is that you want to manifest. Like, it's meant to help you really understand what it takes to manifest these things in your life and how to figure out what manifestation tools, practices, and rituals are appropriate for you and relevant for you and all that jazz. So let me get all the details, because I still need to figure out like the cost and whatever other things that my guides might want me to know about first. But if you're interested in this, be sure to reach out to me on the social medias, wherever you're watching this from, so that I know that you want to be on the wait list. And then when I have the details, I will reach out to you and be like, yo, so this is what it's about. Let me know if you're interested, and then we can see from there. I might also be releasing on my YouTube channel past video testimonials that I have of the women who took my previous manifesting programs that were specifically to money, and their experiences, so potentially look out for that as well. But that's basically it. We're going to be talking about manifesting. Okay, I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Alcon. Take care, everyone.